Now, imagine having $112 billion, which, by the way, is really an imaginable amount, and inimaginable, I think the word is, yeah, inimaginable amount of money. Like, it's hard to imagine having that much money, having those many zeros and being able to buy whatever you want on this planet. However, imagine having that much money and driving right now in 2023 in 8-year-old vehicle. That's not a luxury vehicle per se. It's not a rare vehicle per se. It's just an average vehicle. And that is Warren Buffett, okay? Warren Buffett right now drives a 2014 Cadillac XTS edition. And in reality, it's a nice car. It's a decent car, but it is an 8-year-old vehicle. Now, when people hear this, it might lead them to say, wow, this guy's so cheap, right? He has all this money, and here he is driving this little vehicle that's like 8 years old. But for me, what it creates is humility and also value in the important things in life, like having a car that's used or a new one or one that's like of the year. It really doesn't matter because eventually it will become used, and those things don't really matter in life. You know, we have speed limits, and in reality it's really about like social status. And Warren Buffett, as far as like social status based on those little badges like cars, he really doesn't care about it because his game is a lot more different. But we can all learn something from Warren Buffett driving his 8-year-old car, and that's why I'm making this video. Now, here's the timeline. And by the way, do me a favor and smash the like button. I appreciate it a ton. It helps a lot with the YouTube algorithm, so that's why I asked. But here's the timeline, okay? Warren Buffett last car lasted him about 10 years. His daughter asked him to change it. Now he has this other car, and that was like for about 8 years. And now his recent car, the one he drives now, is going on around 9 years. So you see, like 10 plus 9, that's 19 plus 8, about 27 years, and you're looking at just 3 cars. Well, for example, for the average person that switches vehicles every 8 years or so, well, 27 divided by 8, they would have had by this point somewhere around like, well, yeah, about 3 cars, like 4 cars or so. But look at the price that his vehicles actually cost relative to his net worth, okay? It's a ridiculous amount, but the idea is the car you actually buy is not as important as you probably think it is, as far as, for example, how much it costs and what people think about it. Now, I read this article on Warren Buffett, and I wanted to know exactly what does this guy care about when it comes to a car? And the answer is, one, he cares about that the car is reliable, right? That's an important factor. He cares that the car is actually safe. So it has airbags on both sides and so on, and every place you can actually put an airbag. So this way, if he gets into an accident, he'll be just fine. He also drives about 3,500 miles every single year. Basically, he doesn't drive that much, just from his house to his job, and his job and his house are really relatively like right there. He doesn't like to waste time. And on top of that, he doesn't like to basically bargain hunt when it comes to a car because his time can be used so effectively somewhere else. So whenever he wants a new car or his daughter tells him about it, he sends his daughter, and his daughter goes about buying him a car. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the car he drives now, although MSRP price was like $50,000, right now it's worth about $14,000. And in reality, when he bought it, I think he bought it with hail damage, okay? Like little ice thing that falls down from the air. He bought it with hail damage. Like, he was still looking for a bargain. He was still looking for a deal in a way as far as this car. Now, there is a question, you know, if you have that much money, why not buy, for example, like a BMW, a Mercedes, a Bugatti, a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, right? And you see a lot of people that are on the internet, you know, like sports stars and so on, they usually buy those cars. But for Warren Buffett, he says, I have enough money to buy whatever I want in this life. Like, literally, like, that's a crazy statement, but whatever he wants, he could buy it, right? Even a company. That's pretty crazy, right? He wants a company, he can just buy a company just like that, right? Well, not any company he can buy, but for the most part, he can buy literally whatever he basically wants. Now, he says, like, that's not what's valuable to me. What's valuable to me is basically his time, what he's able to do with his life, so who he works with, what he works on, and so on. So he pressures, basically, well, he pleasures, or he, what's that word I'm looking for? He treasures, yeah, that's the word. My vocabulary is out of its place, okay? But he treasures his freedom in life, and that's what he uses money for. And in reality, he can buy whatever he wants in life, but what he can't buy is time, because, you know, Warren Buffett is an older guy, so what he treasures, what he values is a lot more different than someone that's a lot younger. But the idea is, you can take some bits and tricks from that and apply it to your life. Basically, if a billionaire can drive around in a 2014 vehicle in 2023 that's only worth about $14,000, then why can't you, right? And by the way, I want to add this here. It's not like, oh, there's this billionaire that actually did this, but that's an extreme. No, the average millionaire, the average household that makes over like 250K, average millionaire household, okay? Well, in reality, they drive Toyotas, Hondas, and Ford. I don't know how reliable a Ford is these days, but for the most part, Toyota and Hondas are the most reliable vehicles right now on the market. And they drive them again because they're reliable, they're safe, and they're sturdy, all right? That's all that really matters. So what's a little strategy to basically use when you're buying your next car? Number one, pay cash for this car. Buy a used vehicle, because buying a used vehicle means depreciation. Now, it's not to say that there is a scare of, Tommy, if I buy a used vehicle, what if it breaks down, right? That's going to happen at a certain point because you are dealing with things that kind of wear out. But it's not to say that that makes sense or enough sense to buy a new car. No, you buy a Toyota, it usually has like about a 250,000 mile like radius, like that's how much they last. And in reality, that takes you about 20 to 25 years to actually get to that point. So you buy a 5-year-old Toyota for 50% or 60% of its original face value. That's a massive discount, right? So you're paying half of what it used to be worth, and you still have another like 15 years to basically go. That's awesome. Now, the average person, they're buying a new vehicle. They're spending $700 a month on a payment. But if you go ahead and you just say, hey, I'm going to basically drive a used vehicle, it's 5 years old, I'll keep it for 10 years or 15 years or so. Again, it's just going to take you from point A to point B. Yes, there is maintenance involved, but that maintenance is not going to equal $15,000 or $20,000. Like, they're going to be band replacements, you know, and replacements in some parts or whatever, but it's not going to equal to the amount of a new car. Now, at a certain point though, you will have to replace that used car because guess what? Parts are going to become scarce. And to fix the car is just going to be a big headache at that point, right? So at a certain point, you want to get rid of the car like around maybe year 15 or like 17. Kind of sounds crazy, right? But it is, a car can actually last you that long, no problem. Now, if you were to go ahead, just for fun here, let's go on my little compound interest calculator. If you were to go ahead, and let me just say, if you were to go ahead and basically invest $700 per month, which by the way is $8,400, right? And you did this for about 20 years at a 10% return, that would be around $529,000. Now, if you just kept the car, for example, for 10 years, you would have about $147,000. If you kept the car for 15 years and invested the payments, you would have about $293,000. Now, my ideal, honestly, and by the way, 5 years, you know, the average car loan, $56,000. That's a lot of money, right? But my idea would be, hey, if I keep this car for 10 years, after 10 years, I have $147,000. If I grab even like $30,000 from that money and I buy me the car I actually want and drive that for a lot longer or whatever, that's fine. But I still have a lot of money in my investment account, right? And that makes a big, that's a big difference right there. Why? Because over time, this is actually money for your retirement and to buy maybe a home, put down a down payment or whatever you actually want to do. This actually makes a lot more sense. Now, overall, guys, learn about this, okay? This actually helps you a ton because overall, you can drive a used vehicle. People that are wealthy usually buy used vehicles. They buy reliable ones, Toyotas and Hondas. The people that are actually buying those luxury vehicles like the Mercedes and BMWs, it's not like those people are stupid or something like that, but they're people that usually, like, there's a small amount of people there that are rich, frugal, and very good with money, and they buy them because they like them and love them. But for the most part, most of the people that buy those vehicles, they care about status, and they don't care about building wealth. They care about being able to show off that they have something. But when you see somebody with a $50,000 vehicle, all you know is that that person doesn't have $50,000 anymore, and in 5 years they'll only have $25,000 vehicle. Okay, that's the whole idea. But guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified, and I'll make a video when I buy my next car, and I won't be a hypocrite, hopefully. And I'll buy also a 5 to 7 to 8 year old vehicle and squeeze some life out of that until the wheels fall off. And when they do fall off, I'll basically replace them too. All right, see you later. Peace. up here, another video. Over here's my face. As always, long-term team officially out.